Hi guys, this is Ascendance here from 4FS Gaming, and today we are going to be taking a look at the sniper rifles or Longblasters in Star Wars Battlefront 2. We'll find out which one might be the best fit for you, or if there is one that really stands out above the rest in terms of raw performance. We have for these guns their own damage values, statistics, and each one has some little quirks that make them very distinct from each other. There are essentially 4 weapons to select from as the specialist class. The default gun is a Longblaster that varies in name and appearance based upon the faction that you are playing as. But don't let that fool you, they all have identical stats and weapon handling. Let's take a look at this one first. It doesn't have a specific name, as I said there are 6 of them. Now the unfortunate thing about this first weapon is that you cannot apply any modifications to it, which is a pretty big hindrance to its overall performance. But that aside, what does this weapon actually do? Well, it's a snappy rifle with low recoil, a rapid fire rate, and strong cooling power. Of course, where this gun suffers is in the damage department. See, the basic Longblaster only deals 45 damage to the body, or 95 damage to the head. Now remember that the specialist class has 100 health, officers and assaults have 150, and heavies have 200. So that 95 headshot damage will not be able to kill any full health target with a single headshot. Against other specialists, you will need a follow-up body shot, and for all other classes you will need at least another headshot or multiple follow-up body shots. So this makes the gun pretty bad at sniper duels against higher powered weapons, and also not very good against heavies, as they will require 3 shots minimum to bring down. So as previously mentioned, without mods to put on that variable zoom scope, you will have trouble striking targets at extreme range. So I think I can say pretty definitively that despite that snappy handling, this gun is definitely not the best in class. In fact, it's probably the weakest Longblaster. But it is also not so terrible as to be unusable. Now this is good because you will need at least 50 kills as the specialist to unlock this next weapon, which is the IQA-11. Now in Star Wars, they love to give their guns names that are nothing more than letters and numbers, which are not really that memorable. In fact, after looking on the internet, I can't even find for this gun what its abbreviation means. However, for the sake of simplicity, I like to call this the Bounty Hunter's Rifle, because that's exactly what it is. Now, in my opinion, this is far superior to the starting Longblaster, and is a really solid weapon. It will deal 66 damage to the body, or 125 to the head. It also has decent cooling power, allowing you to fire 5 times before needing to cool the weapon off. There is only a small amount of recoil, which means your follow-up shots are still pretty easy to hit. This gun is competitive in sniper duels, as headshots will instantly kill enemy specialists, and if you land a headshot on an assault or an officer, a quick body shot will clean up the kill. With regards to heavies however, you will still need 2 headshots or multiple body shots for following up. Part of what makes this weapon so great is its modding options. Like most Longblasters, it can get that variable zoom scope, which is really useful on larger maps of Galactic Assault. Now the second mod is unique to this weapon, and it will increase the bolt speed of the blast fired from the weapon. You see, in the universe of Star Wars, lasers and blaster fire do not travel at the speed of light, so none of these weapons are hit scan in nature. When it comes to snipers, this means that you need to lead the target to account for the time it takes for the bolts to actually get to where you are aiming from the barrel of your gun. Now by modding the IQA to increase bolt speed, you do not need to lead the target as much at long ranges, and as such are more likely to hit a mobile enemy, especially one that's rolling around all over the place. The final mod increases the cooling power of the weapon, which is essentially the size of your gun's magazine in terms of traditional firearms. With this active, the weapon will be able to fire 7 times before having to cool off, which drastically increases sustained damage output against groups of enemies or vehicles. Overall, this is probably the most versatile sniper in the game. It works at a variety of ranges, and it can take on a wide array of enemies, but it is not specialized to any particular role. Now the third Longblaster available is the A280 CFE. Now this is less of a sniper rifle and more of a semi-automatic assault rifle. It has impressive fire rate, and it will shoot almost as fast as you can pull the trigger. Because of this, of course, it lacks raw damage, only dealing 33 to the body or 62 to the head. It will take at least 2 shots to bring down a specialist, 3 for an assault or officer, and a minimum of 4 shots to kill a heavy. This might seem weak, but the gun compensates for this really well because it unleashes an absolutely blistering hail of blaster fire with good accuracy and over long range. This fire rate also makes it effective at closer ranges, even at hipfire range. What is really impressive about this gun is also its cooling power. The A280 CFE can shoot about 20 times before it overheats. But the insane cooling factor also means that when you put this weapon into overload mode during the cooling cycle, when your cooling bar glows yellow, it lasts for a very long amount of time, allowing you to shoot continuously into a corridor or doorway, locking it down just like a heavy could with their sentry gun. Now this weapon also gets that variable zoom scope as a potential mod, but the second modification really changes the weapon again. It provides it with a burst fire mode, meaning that each trigger pull will shoot 3 extremely rapid shots. These shots have a very tight grouping, so it completely changes the behavior of the gun, making the damage output in a small amount of time extremely high. A single burst will kill an enemy specialist even if 1 shot lands on their head. 2 bursts can easily kill a heavy, which makes this one of the most dangerous snipers around. The trade-off is that the recoil is difficult to control at long range, so unless the full body of your enemy is exposed out of cover, it might take a while to down them. Also, the burst fire dramatically increases the heat strain of the weapon, so you will find yourself cooling off a lot more than normal. Overall, the A280 CFE is an excellent gun, but it doesn't really feel like a sniper rifle all the time. It shines at mid-range engagements, or when shooting at groups of enemies, because the sheer volume of fire in either firing mode will hit and damage a lot of targets from far away. Just don't try and take this into too many sniper duels, because those other sniper rifles out there that can take you out in one shot can be a bit of a problem. That takes me to the last Longblaster that we have to discuss, and it is a beast. I can see this gun being amazing on PC or in the hands of a very skilled marksman. However, if you miss, you will be punished by the huge recoil and slow fire rate. This is the NT242. It deals 106 damage to the body and 201 damage to the head. This means a couple of things. Firstly, it will kill any full health enemy with a single headshot, even heavies. Of course, this doesn't include heroes, we're talking about the base classes here. Unless of course they are being buffed by an officer. This means that a steady hand will be rewarded with a huge amount of killing potential. The NT242 will also be able to kill other specialists in a single body shot, which makes it an absolute beast for sniper duels. The high damage is strong against vehicles, especially with the disruptor shot modification. The 2 big weaknesses of this gun is the recoil and the cooling power. The weapon has enormous kick, so if you miss your first shot, it will take a little while to line up the follow-up compared to other weapons. You can also only fire this gun 3 times before it overheats, although with the cooling modification, you can extend this to 4 shots. Because the cooling power is so poor, you will only get a very small amount of overcharge time with this weapon when you execute a perfect cooling sequence. So I recommend just reloading it when you get to the blue part of the bar and start firing again normally. This weapon synergizes extremely well with the Marksman Star Guard because it resets the weapon's heat every time you get a headshot, which is very valuable. So the NT242 is the weapon of choice for marksmen who don't miss, and every hit seems to make an impact in the fight. So it is rewarding to use, if not a bit clunky. And there we have it. They are the Longblasters of the Battlefront. Tell us in the comments which one you are having the most success with. Please rate this video and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching. This is Ascendance from 4FS Gaming.